not be intimidated by the idea of being a dungeon master right away. That's where experienced idiots like me get in, and we want to DM, and we think we're great, and we get 2 hours in, and we realize we have no idea what we're doing. What is up, everybody? Hope all your days, I don't know. Hope everything's going lovely. Welcome back to another episode of Archer's Mark Productions, but today we're gonna take a break from our little series we've been doing and really kind of take a step back and really discuss what Dungeons and Dragons is, or as those cool kids call it, D&D. If you've ever been curious about this kind of tabletop role-playing game but didn't exactly know where to start, this is it. I'm gonna kind of walk you guys through what this weird game is. All right, so let's get into it. First, what exactly is Dungeons and Dragons? So at its core, D&D is a collaborative storytelling game where a group of players, you people, guided by a dungeon master, me or whoever is brave enough or to choose that role, embark on an epic adventure through a world, a magical world, or a technologically advanced world, or a medieval world, or a combination of all of them. The dungeon master is the storyteller, and the players navigate this world that's full of monsters and treasures and endless possibilities. Unlike traditional board games, D&D doesn't have a fixed or script or set path. Instead, the player's choice shapes the narrative, making each game unique and in its own weird, sometimes, way. If you catch my drift. Alright, so segment number two. Segment number 2 is characters and classes. Now, let's talk about D&D characters. In D&D, you get to create your own character, your own unique little personal you, complete with a backstory, abilities such as strength and dexterity, constitution, intelligence, charisma. I get wisdom, for all of them. There are various races and classes: elves, dwarves, fighters, clerics, which are pretty much just healer people, for you to choose from, like dwarves and wizards and warriors. Your character's class determines their unique skills and role in a functioning party, which is very rare. Sidebar: a functioning correct party is very rare. Whether you want it to be a mighty warrior, a sneaky rogue, or a wise wizard, it's all up to you, my people. All up to you guys. Alright, so how does this game actually work? Well, it revolves around a set of polyhedral dice with 20 sides, or 12 sides, or 10 sides, or 6, or 8, or 4 sides. When your character attempts a challenging task, such as barrel rolling over the table and punching the guy who talked trash to you, or throwing the top of the table like Captain America's shield, you get to roll the dice to determine the outcome, and me as the dungeon master gets to determine how hard that task is and assign a ability score to it. Now, there are 5, before we get too terribly further into this, since we're halfway through. There are 5 right now, 6 in the works, but 5 D&D editions. Now, I was taught and currently play with most of my players 1st edition. And right now, the most current is 5th. And through 1st does not look anything like 5th. There's completely changed rules and such. And at its core, I suppose it's the same, but you could go on and on. 2 D&D players, one who plays 1st and one who plays 5th, or me, my buddy, could go on and just argue about which one's better. But it's really up to you. What do you guys want to do? by 3.5 stores. Yeah, the Dungeon Master. Let's get back to it. The Dungeon Master, or the DM, is the storyteller and referee of the game. I or they create the worlds, the non-player characters, and guide the narrative of the player characters. Think of them as the director of your adventure escapade. If you're new to D&D, do not be intimidated by the idea of being a Dungeon Master right away. That's where experienced idiots like me get in, and we want to DM, and we think we're great, and we get 2 hours in, and we realize we have no idea what we're doing. That's what the internet and AI is for. Segment 5. 4 was the DM, 3 was the basic gameplay, 2 was the characters and classes, and 1, what is this strange game? So segment 5 is getting started. So, how can you get started with Dungeons & Dragons? First, find a group of friends or join a local game store or online community. Now that you kids these days have your newfangled technology. The official D&D starter set is a good option, I suppose. I learned how to play 5th edition and started DMing with the Player's Handbook. So, really, if you get just one source, and it's like $40, I think, 20, 30, depending on where you get it, that's really all you need. You'll learn. You'll pick up, especially with these easier 5th edition rules, you'll learn. So, yeah, and really, you just take books, just take like Narnia or any of these well-known things, and you could just pretty much, as the Dungeon Master, you can take those ideas and those concepts that much better authors than you have come up with and use them in your story. Don't worry about getting too much into the rules and such. That's why we like to call them homebrew. There's homebrew and official, or Adventures League or whatever, but homebrew is where it's at. Homebrew is the core of D&D. Homebrew is, I don't really like that rule, so we'll change it. Or the table has decided that we don't really want to do this, or this part of D&D we don't agree with, so we'll go over here. It really just depends what you want to do. Don't worry about getting perfect. The most important thing is to have fun and let your imagination just run off the charts. So there you have it. Hopefully kind of a beginner's guide to Dungeons and Dragons. Remember, it's just a game at the end of the day. But when you're in between, when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, remember it's a journey into imagination and friendship. It's overrated in my opinion, but hey. So grab your dice, gather your friends if you have any, or just play Baldur's Gate for those of us who don't have any. And embark on adventures that's limited only by what you limit it to, I would say, because you can really go any direction. Like, this is Dungeons and Dragons, and technically you're supposed to be in a medieval magic-y place, but I threw my party into the future, and one of my players actually has a gun from the future. You can't use it, but she's got a gun from the future. So it's really whatever you want to do. If you can dream up the mechanics for it, then go for it. Or even just shoot from the hip like I normally do. Don't tell any of my players. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah, and see you on the flip side.